is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, China's Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump hold a late-night call reaffirming their bosom commitments and pushing for steady, stable ties amid global uncertainty. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano roars back to life, triggering an orange aviation alert as lava and smoke blanket parts of the Big Island. Turning to East Asia, China slams Japan's plan to position missiles near Taiwan, warning neighboring states and the world to stay alert as regional tensions escalate. In Australia, Senator Pauline Hanson sets off a firestorm after entering the Senate in burqa, a throwback to her 2017 stunt, just moments after her bill to ban full face coverings was blocked. Back home, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee signals a possible halt to its flood control probe, a move critics call premature as key questions remain unanswered. At the palace, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hits back at Senator Amy Marcos over her remarks on alleged drug use and misuse of public funds, deepening a very public sibling rift. And in entertainment, rock giants Guns N' Roses roll out their 2026 World Tour from Mexico to Brazil, through Europe and North America, with a major stop at the iconic Rose Bowl. I'm Franco Baranda. Newsline World starts now. Amid rising tensions in East Asia, China has condemned Japan's plan to place missiles near Taiwan, calling on neighboring countries and the international community to remain vigilant. Joy Tabanao for the details.
China has criticized Japan's plan to deploy missiles on an island near Taiwan amid ongoing tensions between the two countries. According to Mao Ning, spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the move is extremely dangerous and requires heightened vigilance from neighboring countries and the international community.
日方在与中国台湾邻近的西南诸岛部署进攻性武器，刻意制造地区紧张，挑动军事对立。联系到日本首相高市早苗的涉台错误言论，这一动向极其危险，需要引起周边国家及国际社会的高度警惕。
Mao also mentioned China's postponement of the trilateral summit with Japan and the Republic of Korea, citing that no agreement had been reached due to erroneous statements by Japanese leaders regarding Taiwan.
中日韩三方并没有就第10次中日韩领导人会议的会期达成共识。 近期，日本领导人在涉台问题上公然发表错误言论，损害了中日韩合作的基础和氛围，导致当前不具备举行中日韩领导人会议的条件。
Mao added that Japan continues to overstep boundaries and that China will escalate the issue to the United Nations. The tensions over Taiwan has also affected daily relations between the two countries, leading to travel advisories and the cancellation of thousands of flights. China continues to monitor the situation closely as tensions in the region persist, potentially impacting security and transportation around Taiwan. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump held a phone call Monday night, reaffirming commitments made during their recent Busan meeting and urging continued stability in China-U.S. ties. Beijing says Xi praised their Busan meeting last month as a turning point that recalibrated the course of bilateral relations. Xi said China-U.S. ties have maintained a steady and positive trajectory since that meeting, adding that cooperation benefits both sides while confrontation hurts both. He urged Washington and Beijing to keep the momentum going by expanding cooperation, reducing friction, and ensuring progress based on equality, respect, and mutual benefit. She also reiterated China's firm stance on Taiwan, saying its return to China is part of the post-war international order that both countries once fought shoulder to shoulder in World War II. Trump, for his part, called Xi a great leader and said he fully agrees with Xi's views on the relationships. He added that both sides are implementing the important consensus reached in Busan and stressed that the U.S. understands the significance of Taiwan's question to China. The two leaders also discussed the Ukraine crisis. She said China supports all efforts toward peace and hopes the parties involved can narrow differences and reach a binding, lasting agreement. Brazil's Supreme Court has unanimously upheld the detention of former President Jair Bolsonaro, who was arrested over the weekend after authorities found his electronic ankle monitor burned and damaged. Carlo de la Peña tells us more.
Bolsonaro was taken into custody on Saturday from his Brasilia home, where he had been under house arrest while appealing a 27-year sentence for attempting to overturn the 2022 election and plotting to prevent President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva from taking office. Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes ruled that Bolsonaro had willfully and consciously violated the monitoring device. A video released by the court showed the bracelet scorched and warped, with Bolsonaro admitting he used a soldering iron on it, claiming he was acting out of curiosity. The court also cited what Moraes called very serious implications of a possible attempt to flee, pointing to a vigil organized by Bolsonaro's son outside the residence and the proximity of the U.S. Embassy. Moraes suggested Bolsonaro could have tried to seek asylum, noting his long-standing ties with U.S. President Donald Trump. Bolsonaro's lawyers insist he had no intention of escaping, attributing the incident to a state of mental confusion from medication and asking the court to return him to what they call humanitarian house arrest. The former president is currently held in a 12-square-meter cell at the federal police headquarters in Brasilia. His legal team faces a midnight deadline to file another appeal after the Supreme Court already rejected an earlier challenge. With the unanimous vote, Bolsonaro's detention remains in force as his appeals continue, adding another dramatic turn to Brazil's most consequential political crisis in years. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Brazilian President Lula da Silva met Mozambican President Daniel Chapo in Maputo on Monday to strengthen cooperation across multiple sectors as Mozambique marks its 50th year of independence. Jane Cognita tells us more.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva's motorcade arrived at the Mozambican Presidential Palace for the official welcome. He steps out of his vehicle and greets President Daniel Chapo after the two walk a red carpet line for a ceremonial reception. A military band performs as both leaders observe the program before heading inside for bilateral talks. Delegations later exchanged signed agreements covering civil aviation, agroforestry, health, investments, and trade cooperation. Brazil's trade agency, Apex Brazil, says the visit aims to deepen what it calls productive integration with Mozambique, noting Africa as a strategic priority for Brasilia. Mozambique's foreign minister earlier said Brazil could serve as a central partner in the country's energy transition, particularly in technology, industrial innovation, and infrastructure.
Senhor Presidente Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, mas hoje o Brasil passou de país importador para país exportador e nós queremos essa experiência. Na área de transporte e logística, para os nossos corredores de desenvolvimento, na nossa economia, recursos minerais e energia, infraestruturas, saúde e principalmente na área de recursos minerais, hidrocarbonetos, a questão relacionada com a exploração do gás e a experiência que a Petrobras tem e os nossos irmãos brasileiros.
Lula's two-day visit is expected to lay the groundwork for expanded economic and technical cooperation between Brazil and Mozambique, as the latter marks a milestone in its national history. Lula says the trip marks the renewal of a relationship rooted in 5 decades of cooperation, and Brazil is ready to support Mozambique in various fields, calling the visit a restart of long-standing cooperation.
A minha visita a Moçambique é o recomeço de uma história que nunca deveria ter parado de acontecer. A minha visita a Moçambique é para dizer a você, presidente da República, e ao povo de Moçambique, que o Brasil está de volta. E o Brasil quer colaborar com Moçambique em todas as áreas, da indústria, da ciência e tecnologia, da agricultura, da energia, e em tudo aquilo que você precisar, sobretudo em 2 áreas vitais para a humanidade.
This is Lula's 4th visit to Mozambique and his first in 15 years. Mozambique and Brazil share historical and linguistic ties as former Portuguese colonies. This has been Jane Cognita, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Up next in the Philippines, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee signals a possible halt to its flood control probe, a move critics call premature as key questions remain unanswered. At the palace, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hits back at Senator Amy Marcos over her remarks on alleged drug use and misuse of public funds, deepening a very public sibling rift. More news when Newsline World returns.
Pasasaan pa ang kalayaan kung ang mga alipin ngayon ay sila din naman mang-aalipin bukas.
Ibigin mo ang iyong bayan ng sunod kay Bathala, sa iyong kapurihan at higit sa lahat sa iyong sarili.
Hindi natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumulong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagpapabuti ng kanyang mga kapwa, gaano man kaaba ang kanyang katungkulan. Naway magsilbing paalala ang kanilang mga salita upang lalo nating mahalin at tapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
Sa panahon ng tag-ulan, hindi lang baha at ulan ang dapat bantayan, kundi pati na rin mga sakit na pwedeng makahawa. At dahil ngayon ay rainy season, nagbabala ang Department of Health laban sa tinatawag na wild diseases. 4 na klase ng sakit na karaniwang nakukuha ng tao tuwing maulan. Ito ang W o waterborne diseases, gaya ng pagdudumi o gastroenteritis. I o influenza-like illnesses, gaya ng sipon, ubo at lagnat. L o leptospirosis, na maaaring makuha mula sa ihi ng mga daga sa baha. At D o dengue, na dala ng mga lamok. Kapag baha, mas mabilis kumalat ang mikrobyo. Kaya't ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at agad maligo matapos lumusong sa baha. Ano ang dapat gawin para maiwasan ang wild diseases? Tumutok sa weather updates. Magsuot ng kapote at bota. Siguraduhing malinis ang iniinom na tubig. Agad kumonsulta sa health center kung may nararamdamang sintomas. Mainam din gawin ang 40 o ang taob, taktak, tuyo at takip para maiwasan ang dengue sa bahay at komunidad. Maglinis, magmasid, mag-ingat. labanan ang wild diseases ngayong tag-ulan. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. fired back at his sister, Senator Amy Marcos, following her controversial statements regarding the president's alleged illegal drug use and misappropriation of public funds. Ina Martel reports.
At a religious rally of the Iglesia ni Cristo at the Quirino Grandstand, Senator Amy Marcos leveled serious allegations against her brother, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Batid ko na nagdadrag siya. Hapon sila. Lahat sila nagiinuman at gumagamit ng cocaine. Kasama ng asawa at barkada. Hindi na niya alam ang nangyayari. Hindi na pinapaalam sa kanya ang mga pangyayari. Sinamantala ng mga ito ang paggamit niya ng droga. Kinangkam na nila ang kaban ng bayan.
Questions came from all sides. If this were true, what is the president's capability to lead the country? After nearly a week, the president released a statement. In his press conference at Malacanang on Monday, he did not directly answer the allegations. Instead, the president said that he and his family are concerned about the senator.
So I'll just say this much. For a while now, we've been very worried about my sister. When I say we, I'm talking about friends and family. And the reason that is because the lady that you see talking on TV is not my sister. And that view is shared by our cousins, our friends. Hindi siya yan. Hindi siya yan. So that's why we worry. So we are very worried about her. I hope she feels better soon.
When asked if he had spoken with the senator,
we no longer travel in the same circles, political or otherwise.
Just minutes after the president's statement, Senator Amy immediately responded on her official Facebook page. This was a direct message to her younger brother, urging him to prove that the senator was wrong, as she said she wanted her accusation to be proven false. It can be recalled that when the allegations of the president's alleged illegal drug use first surfaced, along with the public's call for a hair follicle drug test, the president did not heed them. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Ina Martel, SMNA News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines responded to a video shared by Congressman Kiko Barzaga on his social media account concerning the alleged personal allowance increase for the AFP Chief of Staff. At the same time, the AFP reiterated that they will remain non-political. Almar Forsuel has more.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, once again expressed indignation over a new statement by Representative Kiko Barzaga saying he was spreading false and misleading information. The AFP debunked the alleged personal allowance increase for the AFP Chief of Staff and the supposed 15 billion pesos in ghost projects. According to the AFP, the mentioned false narrative is not new to them, and they emphasize that it is merely being brought up again to allegedly sow doubt and involve the AFP in the current political issue. The AFP also stated that the circulating video dates back to 2024 and that the allowance of all AFP personnel had already been increased as early as December 2023. The AFP also said that the 15 billion pesos ghost projects claim is a major falsehood, explaining that under the TICAS program, all funds allegedly go directly to the DPWH, which oversees planning, bidding, construction, inspection, and turnover. In response, Congressman Barzaga said that the report about the bonus allegedly given by former Speaker Martin Romualdez to General Bronner is not fake news, as he claims it is clearly shown in the video. Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines reiterated that they will remain professional, disciplined, and non-political. The AFP's statement comes amid the heated controversy faced by Marcos Jr. administration over rampant corruption. The AFP emphasized that they are an institution dedicated to serving the Filipino and safeguarding the Republic. They also believe that the fight against corruption should be pursued through constitutional, transparent, and fair processes and should never involve violence, intimidation, intimidation, or military intervention. In conclusion, the AFP said that their duty is to defend the country, uphold democratic institutions, and safeguard peace. For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee may halt its hearing on the controversial flood control project, even though many questions remain unanswered. Amid calls for truth and transparency, some say the committee's sudden retreat seems rushed. Prince Tripoli reports.
Despite the near-daily release of the new information and allegations, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee seems to have suddenly put the brakes on its investigation into the flood control anomaly. In an ambush interview, Vice Chairman Senator Erwin Tulfo candidly admitted that the hearing might not continue.
That's what my understanding was nung last meeting namin na magpa-file lang kami ng initial committee report. Pag may nag-file na ng kaso, titigil na kami. So we have to stop this.
But when asked if the public would be left hanging, this was Tulfo's response.
Nangyayari kasi, nagiging parang telenovela na lang, lahat pong gumugulo. Why don't we just come up with something, give this case to the ICI?
According to Tulfo, other issues are being overshadowed because of this. He said it would be better to just turn over all the evidence to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI.
Binigyan ng presidente ng kapangyarihan yung ICI to investigate. Pag dala-dalawa tatlong ahensya nag-imbestiga, nagugulahan lang ho eh.
For Senator Ping Lacson, there may be no more hearings if there are no new resource persons to appear.
Kung wala na, what's the use? Wala na walang resource person.
According to Ping, a partial committee report is currently being prepared, which may be sponsored in the plenary. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNI News.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue's letter of authority being used to collect taxes or to collect kickbacks. That question is now at the center of a Senate resolution after business owners claim the LOA has become a money-making tool for some tax enforcers. More in this report from Sara Santos.
Dahil sa dami ng reklamong natanggap, iginiit ni Senator Erwin Tulfo na kailangan ng silipin kung paano nagiging instrumento ng pangungutong ang Letter of Authority o LOA ng Bureau of Internal Revenue. At ang resolusyon na ngayon nakatutok sa posibleng sistemang nakabaon sa ahensya. Senator Erwin Tulfo has filed a Senate resolution with the Blue Ribbon Committee to investigate the alleged widespread abuse in the use of the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR's Letter of Authority. Tulfo says that complaints from business owners have surged, from small family businesses to large corporations, claiming that the LOA is being used as a money-making scheme inside the agency itself. The senator adds that the BIR reportedly ranks second to the Department of Public Works and Highways when it comes to corruption. This is why he wants clarity on the extent of alleged wrongdoing within the Bureau.
Ang pagkaintindi ko po sa LOA, ang LOA po ay parang search warrant po. Bibigyan ka ng LOA kapag nagduda sila doon sa ibinayad mong tax. Bayad na po ng tax yung isang kumpanya. Maliit man na kumpanya, hindi na po pinapatawad. Kaya marami na pong umaray simula sa Luzon hanggang sa Mindanao, hoping na ito po ay matakil kaagad ng Blue Ribbon sa lalong madaling panahon dahil talagang inabuso po ito habang busy po ang lahat dito sa flood control mess or scam.
Tulfo stressed that the abuse of LOAs allegedly spiked in 2024, far worse than previous years. Because of the sheer number of complaints, he also wants former BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. summoned to the Senate.
Under his administration, naabuso po itong letter of authority. Year before that, at previous years, ginagamit na po pero hindi ganun katindi. Unlike itong year na ito, pagpasok po ng 2024, talagang sinagad-sagad.
At the center of the resolution, the alleged discount scheme and extortion, where the supposed tax due is reduced in exchange for kickbacks.
Kunwari po ang tax ay nasa 25 million ang babayaran mo. Sasabihin, riresibuhan kita ng 15 million. Pero sa akin na yung 5. Yung mga malalaking kumpanya, mayroon po akong alam, 150 million. Sabi 100 na lang. Ang resibo, 100. Pero makakatipid siya dahil ang bibigay niya doon sa mga tao, 25 million. Hindi naman po lahat na nakokolekta na napupunta sa gobyerno.
According to the senator, testimonies from business owners point to several examiners and regional personnel as allegedly involved. And out of fear, most complainants will only submit documents, refusing to appear in person at the hearings.
Natatakot po sila na kasi baka habulin po sila, mamarkado sila. And this is also one of the problem. Kaya yung investors natin, because of that, wala akong pumapasok na tatakot because dito mga naririnig nila. May buwis na, may lagay pa.
Even small businesses such as grocery stores and bakeries are reportedly being targeted, visited by BIR personnel for days, and revisited yearly despite already paying the right taxes. In his Senate resolution, Tulfo aims to identify those behind what he says is systematic abuse and to hold accountable everyone involved, from examiners to regional directors. He is also calling for a reshuffle within the BIR.
Sa oras na buksan ng Senado ang issue, doon natin maririnig ang panig ng BIR at ng mismo mga negosyanteng nagre-reklamo kung mapatutunayan ang umano'y pang-aabuso. Hindi lang negosyo ang lugi, kundi ang tiwala ng publiko sa mismong ahensyang naniningil ng buwis. Para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas nating mahal, Sara Santos, SMNI News.
District Engineers Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and JP Mendoza filed their defense with the Department of Justice during the preliminary investigation on charges of graft and malversation related to gross projects in Bulacan. They personally appeared before the panel of prosecutors. Meanwhile, other respondents requested an extension. Jane Cognita for the update.
From the Senate, the so-called Bulacan Group of Contractors or BGC boys Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and JP Mendoza were brought to the Department of Justice or DOJ on Monday afternoon to personally submit their counter-affidavit or defense against charges of malversation and graft related to ghost projects in Balagtas and Pandi, Bulacan. The contents of their defense were not made public by the DOJ. Sally Santos, owner of SYMS Construction, filed her defense earlier in the morning and did not attend the afternoon hearing. Meanwhile, some respondents requested an extension and were given 4 additional days until November 28. Whether they submit their documents or not by the deadline, the DOJ will close the hearing to issue its resolution.
It's not extendable. So pag hindi sila nakapag-file, we will resolve. The panel of prosecutors will resolve the case based on the complaint and the evidence submitted by the National Bureau of Investigation. So hanggang doon lang po yun.
Pero baka natin pinagbigyan yung extension, knowing yung demand sa atin na makapagpalabas natin ng resolution?
Well, extensions of time po kasi they're naturally granted in the ordinary course of things. This applies generally to all cases where the respondent may file for motions of extension. In fact, ano po yun, given the 4 days is very limited na lang. Kasi normally, for extensions of time, we would grant as much as 2 weeks.
The DOJ admitted that the proponents or those behind the projects were not yet part of the hearing, and only the contractors and former DPWH officials were summoned. However, the agency assured,
wala pa pong proponent at this point in time, but these are the people who are, kumbaga, ito yung mga low-hanging fruits, if you may, meaning that they're the easiest to run after based on the evidence presented. That's not to say na wala po tayong hahabulin na proponents in the future. Again, these are the low-hanging fruits. We will focus on the quick wins.
The Department of Justice is expected to issue a resolution by mid-December. This has been Jane Cognita, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
The Department of Agriculture announced the reimposition of the maximum suggested retail price on imported pork. However, the agency will not monitor just one product. Find out which one in the report by Sheena Torno.
The maximum suggested retail price or MSRP will be set at 370 pesos for imported liempo and 340 pesos for kasim. This was ordered by the Department of Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. to maintain low prices during the holiday season. However, this is not the only product the agency will monitor and strictly regulate against profiteers. Starting December 1, the MSRP will also be implemented on imported red and white onions as well as carrots.
Sa totoo lang, there's a problem nakikita kasi meron yung onion, red onion na 300, di ba? 280, 200. Eh, ang cost nila to bring them in is only 60 pesos eh. Abuso naman yun. Kung nakalusot yan na nagbebenta ng mataas dito, sabihin ng iba, kami na rin, di ba? So it will be a bigger problem if you do not address it fast. Carrots talaga short, talaga matagal. That's why nga nag-issue kami ng import permit na para bumaba.
The Department of Agriculture said that the price per kilogram of imported white and red onions, as well as imported carrots, will be set at 120 pesos. The Department of Agriculture will coordinate with the Department of Trade and Industry and the Philippine National Police or PNP to strengthen monitoring of the markets. The DA also warned vendors who are caught selling at prices that disadvantage consumers.
Tignan natin ba if there is profiteering on their part kasi nga sa price ba't hindi ka sumusunod dun sa MSRP since nag-issue po ng permit for importation yun pwede po natin bigyan ng sanctions.
One, it is proven that there has been profiteering in violation of the Anti-Economic Sabotage Act. Offenders may face fines and imprisonment. Meanwhile, the DA is also investigating cases of illness recorded in pigs sold as lechon in Naloma in Quezon City. This comes after the QC local government temporarily closed lechon shops to prevent the spread of African swine fever. In addition, the DA is looking into other factors contributing to the spread of the disease in the area.
Ang isang suspetsya namin kasi, meron mga nadidetect ng ASF ang baboy, but it doesn't mean yun yung ASF kasi maraming gumagamit ng illegal na vaccine eh. Diba? The illegal vaccine, pag binaccinate nila yung kanilang baboy, it will show up as positive eh. But it doesn't mean it is contagious, no? So, pinapatesting pa namin ngayon at tinitingnan namin to identify talaga kung was the virus detected from a vaccine or lumalabas parang ganun eh.
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
When we return in the Pacific, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano roars back to life, triggering an orange aviation alert as lava and smoke blanket parts of the Big Island. In Australia, Senator Pauline Hanson sets off a firestorm after entering the Senate in a burqa, a throwback to her 2017 stunt, just moments after her bill to ban full face coverings was blocked. Don't go away, Newsline World will be back.
Sa kabila ng mga mas modernong kaalaman at teknolohiya, nananatiling matindi ang banta ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Pero gaano nga ba kalala ang sitwasyon? Ang HIV o Human Immunodeficiency Virus ay isang sakit na sumisira sa immune system ng katawan. Ngunit tandaan, hindi ito nakukuha sa simpleng pakikisalamuha. Hindi mo agad mararamdaman, pero unti-unti nitong pinapahina ang katawan. At kapag hindi naagapan, humahantong ito sa AIDS, ang huling yugto na impeksyon, kung saan halos wala ng panlaban ng katawan laban sa sakit. Patuloy na dumadami ang kaso ng sakit na ito sa Pilipinas. Isang nakababahalang pagtaas. Umabot na sa 500% ang itinaas ng HIV cases sa mga kabataang edad 15 hanggang 25. Ayon mismo sa Department of Health, 56 na bagong kaso ang naitatala kada araw sa bansa mula Enero hanggang Marso 2025. At ang pinakamatinding apektado, ang kalalakihan at kabataang Pilipino. Dahil dito ang Pilipinas na ngayon ang may pinakamataas na bilang ng bagong kaso ng HIV sa buong Western Pacific region. Isang indikasyon ng lumulubahang sitwasyon, kaya nananawagan ng Department of Health gawing opisyal at urgent ang laban sa HIV sa pamamagitan ng isang Public Health Emergency Declaration. Kalalakihan ng pangunahing apektado, 95% ng bagong kaso ay lalaki. Mahigit 1/3 ay kabataang nasa edad 15 hanggang 24. Habang wala pang deklarasyon, patuloy ang DOH sa mga sumusunod na hakbang: HIV testing, libreng gamot, self-test kits, at pakikipagtulungan sa DepEd para sa edukasyon sa mga paaralan. Isinulong rin ng DOH ang online patient appointment system para sa HIV patients. Layunin nitong gawing mas madali at mas personal ang pag-access sa libreng gamutan at konsultasyon ayon sa schedule ng pasyente. Ang HIV ay hindi tulad ng flu. Hindi ito basta naipapasa sa hangin. Ito ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng personal na desisyon. Kailangan din nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang ugali, disiplina at personal na responsibilidad. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Pasasaan pa ang kalayaan kung ang mga alipin ngayon ay sila din naman mang-aalipin bukas.
Ibigin mo ang iyong bayan ng sunod kay Bathala, sa iyong kapurihan at higit sa lahat sa iyong sarili.
Hindi natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumunong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagpapabuti ng kanyang mga kapwa, gaano man kaaba ang kanyang katungkulan. Naway magsilbing paalala ang kanilang mga salita upang lalo nating mahalin at tapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted again on Sunday, prompting USGS to issue an orange aviation alert as lava and smoke spread across the Big Island. Mount Kilauea erupted once more on Hawaii's Big Island, marking its 37th outburst since December 2024, as new flows of lava and smoke swept across its slopes. The United States Geological Survey, or USGS, immediately issued an orange aviation alert, indicating a limited risk to aircraft. According to reports, the eruption began on Friday and is expected to continue through today. Kilauea, located on the island's southeastern coast, is considered one of the world's youngest and most active volcanoes, with its most recent eruption occurring on November 9. USGS and local authorities continue to closely monitor the situation to ensure the safety of residents and communities near the volcano. Australian lawmakers erupted in anger on Monday after Pauline Hanson entered the Senate wearing a burqa, a repeat of her 2017 protest, moments after she was blocked from introducing her bill to ban full face coverings in public. More in this story from Jamel Santos.
Australian Senator Pauline Hanson briefly left the chamber after her proposed burqa ban was struck down, only to return wearing the black full body covering. Her re-entry stopped the Senate in its tracks, with objections coming from all sides of politics. Leaders from Labour, the Greens, Liberals, and even the Nationals called the stunt a political prop, warning it disrespected Muslims and cheapened the chamber. Proceedings were suspended for more than 90 minutes when Hanson refused to remove the garment. Australian media reports that Hanson's move immediately reignited long-running tensions over Islamophobia, with experts warning the act could heighten risks for Muslim women in public.
A dress code might be a choice of the senators, but racism should not be the choice of the Senate. This is a racist senator displaying blatant racism and Islamophobia, President, and someone should pull her up on that.
She is disrespecting a faith. She is disrespecting the Muslims out there, Muslim Australians. It's absolutely unconstitutional. This needs to be dealt with immediately before we proceed.
Clearly, what has happened today is not a genuine demonstration of faith. In fact, it is the middle finger to people of faith. It is extremely racist and unsafe, and I would like you to reconsider your earlier ruling that it is not appropriate in this Senate to draw attention to a religion that this person does not even subscribe to. It is an insult, and it must be against the standing orders. I would like you to review your earlier ruling.
Labour Senate leader Penny Wong said the act was not worthy of the chamber, while Liberal Senate leader Ann Boston warned that political theatre of this kind undermines public trust in Parliament. Islamophobia envoy Aftab Malik also cautioned that such a stance could intensify harassment of Muslim women and fuel prejudice nationwide. In a post after the incident, Hanson doubled down, saying, "If they don't want me wearing it, ban the burqa." The Senate is expected to revisit procedural rules after multiple lawmakers urge formal action to prevent similar incidents in future sittings. Reporting for Newsline World, Zomo Santos, SMNI News.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk raised concerns over the US-backed peace plan, saying that a reported clause in it aligns so closely with Russia's position that it should be viewed as deliberate attempt at manipulation. Angel Pastor for the details.
Responding to questions about a proposal barring NATO troops from entering Ukraine, Tusk said everything indicates the idea is essentially a Russian point of view, warning that it could be a trap intended to shape negotiations.
Wszystko to wskazuje, że ten punkt jest raczej punktem widzenia rosyjskim, jest manipulacją czy pewną pułapką. Nikt się nie da w nią wciągnąć. Znaczy tego punktu możemy spokojnie uznać, tego punktu już nie.
He stressed that EU leaders would not be drawn into endorsing such language, saying the point has not appeared in any meaningful form in Europe's discussion. The US drafted 28-point plan continues to be hashed out in Geneva. The framework reportedly calls for Ukraine to surrender key territory, scaling back its armed forces, rule out NATO membership, and hold elections within months. European states have hinted at developing an alternative proposal, although Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he hadn't seen a counter-proposal. Trump has sharpened rhetoric toward Kiev, saying Zelensky can, quote, fight his little heart out if he rejects the deal, and pressing for progress before the Thanksgiving deadline, he said. Russia, for its part, said Monday it has received no formal update from the Geneva talks.
Нет, мы пока не получали никакой информации. Мы, разумеется, очень внимательно отслеживаем те сообщения СМИ, которые обильно, так сказать, шли вот в прошедшие несколько дней из Женевы в том числе. Но официально мы пока ничего не получили. Послушайте, мы пока не видели никакого плана. Мы читали заявление по итогам дискуссии, состоявшейся в Женеве. Тот текст, который ранее видели мы, были внесены какие-то корректировки. Ну, подождем, там, видимо, диалог продолжается, какие-то контакты будут продолжаться.
Reporting for Newsline World, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
More than 20 Mexican states were brought to a standstill on Monday as lorry drivers and farmers mounted a nationwide road blockades, demanding stronger highway security, an end to extortion, and greater support for the agricultural sector. Almar Farsuelo has the story.
In Mexico, more than 20 states were paralyzed after lorry drivers and farmers launched widespread road blockades. They are calling for tighter security on highways, an end to extortion, and stronger support for the agricultural sector. The protest began at 6 a.m. on Monday. Among the key areas blocked was the Mexico-Toluca motorway, where only one lane toward Mexico City was left open. Protesters carried banners with messages such as "Stop crime against transport" and "We demand security in all roads." According to one of the lorry driver, attacks on the road happen almost daily, from attempted cargo theft to gunfire. They also questioned the alleged collusion of some police officers with criminal groups.
Que los policías sean más honestos, más responsables, que hagan su trabajo como tiene que ser, ¿no? Porque realmente ya no sabemos si cuidarnos de ellos o ya mejor a veces que ni... Por si te llegan a parar en la madrugada, si te para una patrulla dices ¿por qué me estás parando? Y sabes que ya viene junto con el delincuente, ¿no?
In addition, he said that some incidents have even turned tragic, with several people losing their lives due to violence on the country's roads.
Pues la verdad, le digo, en nuestro trabajo es muy recurrente, a diario asaltos, si no nos balacean, nos quieren quitar la carga, de muchas maneras sí nos están afectando.
The widespread blockade was organized by the National Association of Lorry Drivers, or ANTAC, together with the Farmers' Agricultural Movement and the National Front for the Rescue of the Countryside, with support from local organizations across several states. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
With elections just days away, Honduras Armed Forces are deploying both land and air units to deliver ballots to hard-to-reach regions, guaranteeing that voting materials arrive safely and on time. Honduran Air Force planes took off from Hernan Acosta Mejia Air Base in Tegucigalpa, carrying 117 ballot boxes bound for the Department of Gracias a Dios in preparation for the upcoming elections in Honduras. Access to the Gracias a Dios region is limited, making air transport essential to ensure that the ballots arrive on time. The Honduran Armed Forces reportedly deployed both land and air units to guarantee the smooth delivery of electoral materials to all corners of the country.
Fuerzas Armadas, en coordinación con el Consejo Nacional Electoral, hasta este momento ha enviado el material electoral a 8 departamentos del país, siendo ellos Atlántida, Ocotepeque, Colón, Lloro, Copán, Lempira, Intibucá y también Cortés. El día de hoy se tiene programada la salida de material electoral correspondiente al departamento de Gracias a Dios, y en las próximas horas también saldrá material electoral rumbo a Santa Bárbara.
The elections in Honduras are scheduled for November 30. The armed forces continue to remain on alert to ensure that the elections are conducted safely and smoothly across all regions of the country. Don't go away, Newsline World. We'll be back.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa, ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito, pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulung at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, saka palalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
The holiday spirit came alive in Madrid as thousands gathered at Cibel Square to witness the city's grand Christmas lights switch on, an annual tradition that filled the capital with celebration, unity, and festive cheers. Anissa de Guzman has the story.
Madrid officially welcomed the Christmas season with a dazzling ceremony at Cibel Square, where millions of twinkling lights illuminated the City Hall facade in a vibrant display of color and joy. The event, led by Mayor Jose Luis Almeida, drew a massive crowd eager to take part in one of the city's most beloved holiday traditions. As the countdown reached 0, the square erupted in excitement. Fireworks lit up the sky, musical performances set the festive mood, and spectators captured the magical moment on their phones as the city transformed into a radiant holiday wonderland. Madrid has gone all out with this year's celebrations, installing around 13 million energy-efficient LED lights across more than 240 sites in all 21 districts. The city's festive setup includes 13 towering illuminated fir trees, 126 cherry tree-themed installations, and over 7,000 decorative light chains. The Christmas lights will brighten the Spanish capital through January 6, ensuring the residents and visitors can enjoy the glow of the season well into the new year. I'm Anissa de Guzman, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
A colorful street dancing competition marked this year's Kalimutan Festival 2025, featuring a 1.5 million pesos grand prize. Prince Tripoli reports.
This was the scene at the opening of the Kalimutan Festival street dancing competition in Sultan Kudarat. Dancers in vibrant traditional costumes. Creative cultural performances. And stories of Mindanao heritage brought to life on stage. Ten contingents from different towns in the province competed head-to-head. Cheers, drums, and celebration filled the festival grounds as each group showcased their pride and identity.
Ang nanalo ng number 1 place na makakatanggap ng 1.5 million pesos ay walang iba kundi ang contestant number 2!
After the intense performances, the municipality of President Quirino was named Grand Champion, taking home the 1.5 million pesos top prize. Special awards were also given, including Best in Production Design for the municipality of Lambayo and Best in Street Dancing for President Quirino. Over 1.2 million people attended the 48-day celebration, proof of the strong cultural pride of Sultan Kudarat residents. In an interview, Governor Dato Pax Ali Mangudadato highlighted the importance of the festival in preserving culture and traditions.
Narinig ko, napakaganda, and I'm very, very happy na makitang gagaling ng ating mga kabataan. And not only are they talented, they have the passion to keep the service alive to its constituents. It's always for a cause yung iniisip nila, makatulong sa ating taong bayan. So congratulations to President Quirino na nag-champion. Nakatanggap sila ng 1.5 million pesos.
The governor also confirmed cash prizes for the runners-up.
Pero lahat pa naman contestants panalo din. Dahil winner takes all, lahat po nila, meron din runner-up na award amounting to 400,000 pesos. So malaganda. Everyone's happy, everyone's enjoying. And dito po ang gusto ko sa Sultan Kudarat. Everyone is displaying their talents. Pinapakita nila kung ano makontribute nila sa Pilipinas. And I'm very happy. As a father, I support them all the way.
Meanwhile, President Quirino choreographer Hamir Sepi shared that part of the winnings will go to school projects, instruments, and preparation for upcoming competitions.
First of all, I would like to thank the local government unit of the President Quirino. So ang gagawin po namin sa prize namin na 1.5 million ay may project po kami na ilalaan sa school, and also bibigyan din po namin ng mga bata. Kasi nagpagod po sila, at the same time may mga project po kami kagaya ng ibibili namin siya ng mga instruments and other gamit na pwede namin gamitin sa next competition.
The annual street dancing competition honors the unity of Muslims, Christians, and indigenous peoples in Sultan Kudarat.
To Governor Dato Pax Ali Mangudadato, the Provincial Governor of the Province of Sultan Kudarat, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to showcase our talent, to showcase the talent of the Sultan Kudarateños, and also thank you very much dahil sa napakalaking tulong nyo na tulungan nyo ang batang President Quirino, and also Sultan Kudarat, world class ka.
Higit pa sa pampremyo at tropeyo, ang tunay na panalo ay ang nagkakaisang Sultan Kudarateños mula sa liderato hanggang sa talento na may pagmamalaki sa buong mundo. Nag-uulat mula rito sa Sultan Kudarat, Prince Tripoli, SMA News.
Rock legends Guns N' Roses have announced their 2026 World Tour, kicking off in Monterrey, Mexico, Brazil, Europe, and North America, including a landmark show at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles. Rock band Guns N' Roses has announced their 2026 World Tour, which will kick off in Monterrey, Mexico on March 28 before continuing to Brazil, Europe, and North America. The North American leg will begin on July 23, spanning 2 months with stops in Toronto on August 5, Edmonton on August 26, and Vancouver on August 29. A highlight of the tour is a special performance at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles, marking the band's first show at the venue over 30 years. The band will release 2 new songs, Nothing and At Last, the night before the North American pre-sale beginning December 3. And in sports, India finds itself in serious danger of dropping the home series after South Africa dominated day 3 of the Guwahati Test, establishing a commanding advantage. Meanwhile, reigning MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put on a stellar performance to lead Oklahoma City to a sweeping victory over Portland, extending their impressive season start. More on this from Carlo De La Peña.
South African seamer Marco Jansen start with a brilliant 6-4-48, dismantling India's batting lineup and leaving the home side bowled out for 201, a massive 288 runs behind. India began the day at 9-0 with Yashasvi Jaiswal leading the charge with 58, but he eventually fell to a Jansen catch off Simon Harmer's spin. The momentum quickly shifted when Jansen tore through the middle order, taking 4 wickets in a row as India crumbled from 102-3 to 122-7. Washington Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav tried to halt the collapse with a patient 72-run partnership, but Sundar edged another delivery from Harmer, one of 5 dismissals taken by Aiden Markram in the field. Jansen then wrapped up the innings by removing Kuldeep and Jasprit Bumrah. South Africa ended the day at 26-0, pushing their lead to 314 runs and placing themselves firmly on track for a 2-0 clean sweep. After going 12 years undefeated in home test series, India now risks suffering a second home series loss in just over a year, following their 3-0 defeat to New Zealand in 2024. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tallied 37 points as the Oklahoma City Thunder avenged their only defeat of the season, defeating the Portland Trail Blazers 122-95. The win extended the Thunder's streak to 9 games and boosted their record to 17-1, maintaining an unbeaten mark at home of 7-0. SGA was highly efficient, hitting 13 of 18 shots, 2 of 3 from 3-point range, and converting all 9 free throws, while adding 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. Teammate AJ Mitchell remarked, "He is a killer. Watching him in that zone is always exciting." Mitchell also contributed 20 points off the bench on perfect shooting, including 2 triples, helping secure the commanding win. OKC now joins an elite group as just the 5th team in 30 years to start a season 17-1, alongside Cleveland, Golden State, Dallas, and the 1996 Chicago Bulls. Isaiah Hartenstein dominated the glass with 15 rebounds, further strengthening the Thunder's home dominance. Other NBA highlights included the Lakers narrowly defeating Utah 108-106, led by 33 points from Luka Doncic, Phoenix topping San Antonio 111-102 without Spurs star Victor Wembanyama, and Donovan Mitchell powering Cleveland past the Clippers 120-105 with 37 points. Boston bested Orlando 138-129, Atlanta outlasted Charlotte 113-110, Toronto beat Brooklyn 119-109, and Miami defeated Philadelphia 127-117 behind 32 points from Normal Powell. In injury news, Kevin Durant will miss Houston's next 2 games due to a family matter, while Denver's Aaron Gordon is sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo De La Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the sun. In everything you want to do, if you are committed, if you are consistent, you will succeed. And as we keep track of the countdown, there's only 30 days left before Christmas. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Franco Baranda. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.